All right. Yeah, once again, thank you very much for tuning in, people. I am your host today, Diva from Parang Info. And with us today, we have a team from RFOX to take you through an information session on RFOX Metahack 2022. So to start, I think I'll give a quick brief on the challenge itself. So as some of you might have already seen the website, I'll just quickly go through some of these key points before handing over to the RFOX team. So who should apply? I think this is the first point here. So we are looking for talented technologists. So those are individuals. We are also looking for very innovative startups. So it's open for startups, and also teams, group of people come together to come up with interesting ideas. So if you fit in any of this bill, feel free to participate in this challenge and do spread the word to your colleagues as well. And next thing, so why you should apply. So these are the prizes and opportunities that await you in this challenge. So we have valued up to USD $35,000 prizes for each challenge statement. It's not a combined amount for each challenge statement. And this includes go-to-market support, a position to be secured within RFOX, some revenue sharing opportunity, and also tokens, NFTs, PR sets, etc. So these are the details of those prizes that I just mentioned. And everything is there on the website for you to take a look further. And if you have any further question, do feel free to type into the Q&A box below. So next, a quick look at the timeline. So where we are today, this is the info session day, 4th of August. This is the opportunity for you to ask any burning question that you might have regarding the challenge statement to initiate you to start building an application. And then the next phase will be between now to September, where you start building your solution and your proposal. And the deadline is on the 12th of September. And everything is done via the Metahack website, which I'll be flashing later. And you can start your journey over there. And on 12th of September, we'll be closing the submission. Moving forward, after that, after evaluating through all the submissions, the shortlisted participants will be joining for a pitch day on 21st October, where you will be showcasing your solution to a panel of judges and the entire RFOX community. And from there, the winner will be selected to move forward into the next steps. So how do you apply? It starts off with creating a profile. So RFOX Metahack challenge is basically posted on RFOX Metahack platform. And as you go into the website, you start off by creating a quick profile. And right after that, you can start your application process by clicking apply now. And in that form, there will be an option for you to upload a deck. So we have a presentation deck to basically describe your solution further. And then along with that, you can also attach the link to your demo, prototype, or repository containing your solution. And you may also attach other supporting materials. For example, if you have any research papers or you have other references to include, feel free to do so as well. And then at that point, you can also choose to save your application if you are not ready in a draft format. And then once you have all the materials complete, you may then complete your application as well. And I would like to also inform that, if you still would like to revisit your application in the midst of the process, you may also do so by accessing your dashboard. Yeah, so that's how you make the application. And once again, if you have any further question on this, please type it into the Q&A box where we'll be taking it later in the session today. So that's basically the flow of the challenge and the process. I would like to now invite Rui Nobrega, Chief Information Officer, RFOX, to basically walk everyone through the challenge statements and also introduce other colleagues from RFOX as well. Over to you, Rui.
Thank you very much, Adiva. I hope that you guys can hear me well. And let me share my screen. Hopefully this will work too. Here you go. But before we jump in on the slide deck and challenges, let me introduce the people that are with me today. So my name is Rui. I work at RFOX. With me, there is Luke Fairbank, Chief Product Officer. Peter Xiao, Chief Technology Officer. Phil Kaiwat, which is our RFOX Games Manager. And we'll be responsible for, we'll be taking you guys through this presentation on RFOX Metahack and the challenges. So let's start a little bit with the RFOX, who we are and why we are here. So RFOX began its journey in 2018, and basically we are focused on several brands. We are a metaverse company, and our metaverse is called the VALT. But not only are we focused on metaverse, we also have a brand called RFOX Games. We have a product that is RFOX NFTs, and we also have another product that is a media and TV streaming product. And lastly, we have deployed a DeFi platform that we called our RFOX Finance. We currently have a team of 60 employees, and we are distributed in 14 countries with offices in Vietnam and Dubai. So this is who we are. This is the RFOX ecosystem and how it all comes together. So here you have the RFOX Vault, which is our metaverse, and the other brands that I mentioned before. And this is all connected by our token, which is the RFOX token, which you all know that exists in multiple blockchains, namely Ethereum, WAX, and BSC. And we have future plans to have the RFOX token present in other blockchains. So we present an ecosystem that is blockchain agnostic. The RFOX token exists per se and can be used through all these brands. So it will be used in the metaverse, in the vault. It can be used in our NFT platform. It can be used, of course, in our DeFi, in our finance platform. And so this is the token that glues all our ecosystem together, and that can be used throughout our ecosystem. And this is a bit our information on each one of the brands. So we start with the Vault. The Vault is, as I mentioned before, our metaverse. It's available in VR. Currently, we support the Oculus Quest. There's a plan in the future to support other VR headsets, and we are about to launch the metaverse also as an Android and iOS app, and also as a Windows native app. So the Vault is what powers our multi-chain RFOX token as the the metaverse. Okay, this is where we are spending most of our internal resources into building this metaverse. We already released an MVP that has been presented several times by Luke Fairbank, and this is our, I would say, our lead product. Now we go to games. Phil will be able to explain more about what is RFOX Games, what we are trying to do. So I'll leave this to be presented by Phil. But in a nutshell, this is our brand that focuses on game building, also using our RFOX token. We go now to NFTs. NFTs, we have built a platform that allows us to create, allows us, RFOX, but not only our partners, and in the future, anyone as an artist or as a developer, to create their own NFT collections and post those NFTs into marketplaces like OpenSea or our own marketplace, our marketplace that we will release very soon, the RFOX marketplace. And this platform has already been used by other partners, for example, like Reebok and Miss Universe Philippines. RFOX TV is a streaming platform that we have launched already as an MVP, and very soon we'll have addition to this MVP, and looking forward to sharing this with you guys. Please keep posted on this one. And lastly, RFOX Finance, which I mentioned, is our DeFi product that was already launched many months ago. People can use this to stake. We have staking pools to manage their own P&L regarding our RFOX token. And this is already available. This was one of the first products that RFOX launched, and it's still up and going. Some of our partners, I mean, we work with many partners, as you can see here, many brands that we keep adding, and more to come for sure. So now we go into the challenges. And I will hand over before I hand over to my colleagues, and I promise you not to bore you too much with rules and procedures, but this is quite important just to make sure that we are on the same page. All this information, by the way, is on the RFOX Hackathon website, which we recommend you to go there. And all the information is there, and additional information that is relevant to the challenges. So how, for example, how you can respond to the challenge. So here are the procedures before that you need to take before you make a submission. This includes going to the RFOX Hackathon website and reading, making sure that you understand what you're reading fully, that you are able to understand all the requirements and all the steps needed to take. When you present your submission, you'll be able to, you need to build a product slide deck. And how to do it, if you're not familiar on how to do it, you can reach out to us, and we'll work with you guys to make sure that you present it the right way. And then you select the tools and the libraries and the programming language that you see fit in order to respond to the challenge. Also, additional information on the evaluation. We look at things like code quality, creativity, and if the challenge that you're going to submit, if that product is ready, or I mean, how close is it to go from the submission to a final product? Okay, and also here some qualification criteria that Steve already mentioned. And we welcome all individuals, small companies, startups to to join this meta hack. All are welcome. And now onto the challenges. I'll start with Phil. Please go ahead.
Sure. So obviously we're looking for mobile games, native apps to Android and iOS. I think we would also accept progressive web apps that would be accessible by mobile web. Just a little background. Sorry, let me just backtrack a little bit. RFOX Games, we actually have two products at this point. Our first one is a NFT, which is COGS. And I will explain a little bit more about COGS in the following slides. But those NFTs are interoperable among our games. Our first game, which is Slam. So we are looking to add to that suite of games that would give utility to our NFTs. So the requirements for this challenge would be to use RFOX as the main payment method. Secondly is to design and implement a scalable, a play to earn model with scalable tokenomics. This is really important. And then to develop a new game token that you would use as rewards. You could very well use RFOX tokens as rewards, but it would really have to make sense because as Rui has mentioned, RFOX is the token that is usable across the entire ecosystem. So, you know, it could be trouble if, for example, the game releases too much RFOX. So I think there would be a preference for the game to have its own reward system and reward token. There will be special consideration for games that support COGS, but just be aware that COGS are on the WAX blockchain, and it is not a requirement to join this challenge. We're open to see what you guys can offer with or without COGS. The game type is open, although I would say that focusing on a casual game would be much easier given the time frame of the challenge. And it is the games that we are most focused on. You can pick one of the blockchains that RFOX is on, which is Ethereum, WAX, or BSC. However, again, COGS are on WAX. The prize is basically launch and marketing support, run under a revenue sharing agreement with the winner. But this publishing support and launch support includes, you know, us helping you build a presence in Web3, publishing on the App Store, access to our community channels and social media channels, and then business intelligence and analytics from our team. So that is approximately a 35,000 USD value. So let me just talk about a little bit about what COGS are and why it would benefit you to design a game that supports it. So COGS is at this point our main NFT product. And it's very much a mass market NFT product where our packs range from $30 to $8. And these NFTs, if you're familiar with POGs or in other countries, they're known as tazos or milk caps. This is a digital version of that. And COGS really stands for keys to other games. The COGS come in different rarities. So one full edition can have anywhere between 11 to 13,000 unique COGS in the collection. And this is all identified by the border, as you can see in the illustration here. Rui, please move on. So how can you use COGS? COGS are a very versatile NFT. So it can manifest in different ways in different games. And as long as you're holding these NFTs in your wallet, the COGS can be used in any game that supports them. So for example, in our first game, Slam, the COGS appear as they were originally conceived. They are discs that you stack and you slam, and whatever flips over becomes yours. In the game that we are currently developing, they show up as characters. So we've taken the art on the COGS and focused on that, and that is represented in the next game. However, for other games, they could be represented as cards or as weapons. It's really up to your creativity to define how COGS appear in your product. I believe that's it, and I guess we can address more during the Q&A. So related to this, we are also looking for a games SDK. This SDK would allow any third-party game to connect to the RFOX ecosystem. So as requirements, again, using RFOX as the main payment method, RFOX tokens could be used as a reward. Again, it's a preference to support COGS in this SDK because we assume that other third parties will want to use COGS as well. It must be blockchain agnostic architecture because RFOX will eventually be multi-chain. You can pick whether this supports Android, iOS, or HTML5. But the SDK really needs to support access to the blockchain, transfer of tokens and NFT between the game client and the users, and then RFOX ID integration, which is our sign-in ID and wallet. Again, you can demo this on either Ethereum, Wax, or BSC. And the prizes are very similar to the previous challenge.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much. Guys, if you have additional questions with regards to the first two challenges, make sure that you write those questions on the chat. And once we wrap up the challenges, we'll be able to go through this and have a discussion. And now to the next challenge. NFT Factory, Pete.
Yeah,
if you please.
So, yeah, thanks, Rui. So for the NFT Factory challenge, the goal for this challenge is to build a platform or prototype of a platform in which allows the end users, and this will definitely be on the web, it will allow the end users to actually help them create their own NFT collections. So think of the end users as artists or games people that do not have blockchain knowledge. So they will use this system in order to help them create and deploy their NFT collection so that it could be marketed and sold and used in the games or whatnot. And the blockchains that we are looking for would be ideally on Solana or Immutable X or Tezos. Flow as well, one of the biggest NFT projects is on Flow, Top Shot. But yeah, if there are people out there familiar with Flow, yeah, we would like to have that as well. And then this obviously, if you could integrate it with a marketplace on the chain itself, that'll be ideal. And also to provide widget integration for the clients to integrate subsequent features of the platform onto their websites. So I think from a price perspective, I think the biggest one on the list is potentially to join the internal development team, I guess, alongside other NFT rewards like booster packs and avatar NFTs.
Thanks, Pete. Now to the next challenge, the RFOX Companion.
So the next one, this one I think is a cool challenge, I guess, in my opinion. This is to build a mobile companion app for use in the whole RFOX ecosystem. I mean, the ecosystem right now is big, as Rui has mentioned earlier in the earlier slides. We've got the VALT, which is metaverse. We've got DeFi, we've got games, we've got NFTs. And it might be a bit hard or difficult to keep track with all this stuff going out there, right? Especially some of them on the web, some of them you got to put your VR goggles on. This RFOX Companion, this challenge at least is aimed for the developers to actually build a companion app that can pull multiples of these things from this whole big ecosystem into one single app, which you can just download on the phone, and then have easy access to, a variety of the parts of the ecosystem, especially like news. If we have access to knowledge base, access to community, pinging your friends or chatting with your friends, and then also giving updates on token pricing, your charts and whatnot to keep track, or portfolio tracking of your RFOX holdings, and also potentially also to track your support tickets, because we've got a support system where you submit tickets to. The companion app could be an easy way to be able to check the status or to submit tickets instead of going to the website. So this is trying to compress the ecosystem into an easy-to-use app so that all the information is at your fingertips.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you very much.
And the prizes would be the same as the the prior one, right? Potential chance to join the RFOX team as well as NFT prizes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pete. And now to the next challenge with Luke.
Everyone, yeah. So this one is related to the VALT. So as Rui said, this is probably our biggest and our core product. So as much as Pete said his was exciting, I think mine is too. So this one's about building a 3D world using Unity. So the VALT is built in Unity on all platforms. And so this one's about building multiple worlds where we can actually transfer NFTs from one to the other. It's something we're looking at doing in the Vault, and this would be a big help for us to boost that side of it. So we've got this concept of shops at the moment, and I'll talk a bit more about that in the next slide, but shops are owned by private investors. So people have bought the NFT and they own that part of the Vault, they own the shop. The shop really, at the moment, we've purposed them as a traditional shop where NFTs are displayed and sold, but really they can be used for anything. And we're really trying to encourage people to use these shops for different purposes and think of new ways to use them. It's really just a different scene inside of our Vault where you can transition from one to the other. But it could be anything. It could be, it can be games, it can be social spaces, it can be all sorts of things. So this challenge is about building these 3D worlds, and we can give documentation on scale and all that sort of stuff to give you some requirements. But essentially, we want to be able to pass NFTs between these worlds as seamlessly as possible. And we're not limiting what those NFTs can be. They can be anything. So we imagine that things like images and 3D objects, videos will be traded between these worlds, including the core world, which is the Vault. So as far as prizes go on this, Oculus VR headset, which is pretty cool. That'll get you into the Vault as well. So we'll give access to the Vault itself. The Vault avatar NFT, and those NFTs come with an apartment as well. So you get your own space in the Vault. And also an opportunity to join the internal team. So I think I've trumped the other prizes as well. Thank you. Next slide, please, Rui. So this one is similar but different. So I talked about the shops, and the challenge we have at the moment is shop owners can modify their shop. So they can change layout. There's 3 different core layouts they can choose. They can change materials, colors, all sorts of aspects of the shop, but they can only do that outside of the Vault. So they can only do that from we call it the shop owners portal. So there's a website they can go and modify their shop. One of the challenges of that is that they have to go outside of the Vault to do that. They can't see the changes until they go back in. So that is a bit clunky in itself, but we want to actually take that to the next level and have the ability to create this shop or these shops inside of a Unity game engine. So basically, we want to be able to build them not just from a aesthetic, coloring and material standpoint, but actually assemble a shop inside of Unity through the UI, much like a Roblox type scenario. So we need to use a Unity game engine, obviously, because we need to incorporate this back in. And it needs to be something we can use later on. So obviously this could end up being the creation tool inside of the production Vault. So this prize is very similar to Phil's, where we offer the social media engagement, the marketing, and the publishing of a store app. So that again is a very similar value of the $35,000 US.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you very much. And this is it. And this is it, guys. These are the 6 challenges as they are presented. I'm sure that you have some questions. So that's it. Questions now.
Thank you, Hui, and the rest of the RFOX team. Thank you very much for the contacts. So for those who are here, I think I would like to remind you, use the Q&A function at the bottom to type your questions so we can get it answered. Separately, Hui, I have a couple of questions that came through email. So we can start with that. So the first question is around the recruitment. So there were questions if the work arrangement for the recruitment will be hybrid, on-site, or remote.
Well, as I presented earlier, I mean, we're pretty much, we presented in more than a dozen countries. And for example, my team is all remote, and that's the way that we work. I mean, not only because of the COVID, but even before COVID, we were working remotely. So RFOX is a remote first company. That's the way that we were born. That's the way that we work now, and I would say that that's the way that it will continue to be. So we work with people in Asia, of course, but we have people that work in South Africa and in Canada, and I mean it's the way that we are now, and that's the way that will continue to be. So remote is fine with us. There's no problem with that.
Just want to add on to whatever Rui said. I mean, we're looking. I mean, for the people in RFOX, I think we're looking for the best of the best people. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're the best, right? And thank you for the person who asked. I'm pretty sure that this is the best prize, you know, amongst all the other prizes, you know, including that Oculus headset that one can win from this challenge.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Hui, for that answer. And another question was from a startup. So the question is around, for example, if they have MVP at this point and they would like to participate in this challenge, in case of them being selected as the winner, how does the IP arrangement go for that?
I think it's too. I mean, I think it's too early to discuss the full IP arrangement, but as a company, we are used to working with. We work already with other partners. I gave you an example with Reeboks and Miss Philippines, and we have other partners that we are currently working with, and we are able always to set up a relationship that is good for both parties. So I'm sure that we'll be able to sit down with this team and to understand how can we work together in a way that makes sense to both of us. So I'm not too worried about that. What I recommend is come to us, show us what you're doing, show us the product that you have. Is it a POC? Is it a product? Irrespective of that, if there's value for RFOX and for this IP holder, I'll make sure that we are able to work together.
Can I just add to that as well? We're building the Vault not to bring everything in-house. We don't want to build this thing out. Like it's building a metaverse for any company, even Meta, Facebook. That's, you know, it's a massive challenge, and we want to bring in third parties. We don't want to do it ourselves. This is a launch pad for other businesses. We want to give people an ecosystem they can tap into. So we see a lot of these partnerships as happening externally and having people connect to us rather than us trying to own the IP or incorporate it into our core packages or product stack.
100%.
Yeah, I think thanks for the answer, Hui and Luke. Yeah, I think from the floor we don't. Yes, we have one question. So yeah, the question is from the requirement for the application, can a hybrid framework be used like Flutter?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to use hybrid frameworks like Flutter, that'll be ideal, because then you can deploy on both Android and iOS. So yes, for sure. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be both, and it could be hybrid as well.
It depends on the challenge, though. So for the Vault, where we're trying to, you know, especially for like the construction set challenge, we'd need to use Unity, but most of the others aren't limited. It's only really those ones where actually, you know, it becomes part of the core framework of the product.
I hope that answered the question. Any other question from the floor? Yep. So if we don't have any further question, I would like to switch the slide quickly. So for those who are here, just like to inform that we will be providing a pitch deck or submission deck template so that you can use it to structure your submission. So it's easier. You don't have to second guess what is needed. And separately, we have also set up a Slack channel to basically take further questions as you go deeper into your development process. And you may join the Slack channel by scanning the QR code that you see on the screen right now. And by doing that, you can actually get access to the RFOX team and also Parang team to help you with any logistical question that you might have. So I'm going to just leave this screen here for a couple more minutes. And separately, I think meanwhile, we also have another question. Yes, so I think question number one, does the participation for this hackathon individual competition by solo or collective by team? I think for this, I think we answered earlier, we welcome either you can join as solo, team, or a startup or a small company as well. So that is completely possible. Another question, do we have the right to participate in one or more challenge? You can attempt multiple challenge statements, that's completely fine, but we prefer to have one submission per challenge statement. So, so across 6, you can have 6 submissions, but for each challenge statement, due to fairness, you can submit one for each challenge statement.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, I think it actually makes sense for people who are developing games to also submit for the SDK, because you will need that anyway. So yeah, we very much welcome multiple submissions.
Thanks, Phil. Next question, what are the technology, programming language, and software tools allowed to use in this contest? So for that, please refer to the challenge statement pages on the challenge website. So it's rfoxmetahack.com. On the site, you can have very detailed view on what is required on each site. And if you have any further question, you can email the email address that's actually shown on the site as well, and we can support you directly. And final question, how to apply the demo proposal solution link. So they have, yes, I think you're right. You can use GitHub, Google Drive, Dropbox, any of these links for sure. RFOX team, you guys have anything to add to this?
No, GitHub, we support GitHub. So if everything can be there on GitHub, it's that's what we require. If you need to add more assets on Google Drive, Dropbox, everything works. I mean, we are not, it's okay with us. We have no problem with that, with supporting that. So GitHub +1, it can be, no problem.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that hopefully that answered the question. And like what I mentioned, do check the QR code on the screen and join our Slack channel so we can keep the discussion going. And if you have any question in the midst of your development, feel free to post there as well, and we will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Right, and I think that marks the end of today's info session. Thank you very much to the entire RFOX team for tuning in. So I would like to also remind that the slides that's actually shared on this session, along with this recording, will be shared to you with the submission deck guide as well, following this session. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining, and yeah, have a good evening and a day or whatever is appropriate in your time zone. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.